Right? Anyway. Okay, so we were here and we will continue from this next slide. So one of the things is, as a living entity, we are in a flickering position. We go through many difficulties. If you look, there's time problems, then you have different stress, crisis management, you take risks in life, anxiety, right? So many things you have to endeavor in this situation. But what is consistent for devotee? Krishna is the constant, no? So anything to do with Krishna is something that is constant. Yeah? If you don't have Krishna, then you are always in a tottering, flickering position. You're going through all this thing. But if you have stress for Krishna, worry for Krishna, time management, crisis for Krishna, everything is on a different platform altogether. Yeah? So things that are very consistent for most of us as devotees is chanting, right? All of us chant, right? Yeah. Then deity worship, what others? Harinam, maybe not so consistent. Yeah. Reading, right? Hearing, what else is consistent? Prasadam is the most consistent. Yeah. But, yeah. So here there's a nice verse. Rishikeshe rishikhani yasyastairya gathani hi saeva dairyam apnoti samsare jiva chanchale. So the translation is, in this material world, all living entities are disturbed due to their flickering position. A devotee, however, is fixed in the service of the lotus feet of the Lord, the master of the senses. Such a person is to be considered situated in endurance and patience. It's a very interesting verse, no? You think about it. If you are not serving Krishna, then you are in a very disturbed situation. But if you take up devotional service, then in this verse, such a person is to be considered situated in endurance and patience. Dairyam apnoti, attains the position of endurance. So that means you endure, you go through devotional service. It's difficult, I don't have the time, but I still want to serve Krishna. I go through difficulties for Krishna. I go through anxiety for Krishna. So that is considered to be endurance, patience and endurance. So it's important to make sure you are consistently and constantly doing something that is connected to Krishna. Whatever you do in your life, nirbandha, Krishna, sambandhe, just to make sure you connect with Krishna. Simple things also, right? Just like when you eat prasadam, you always offer, right? Right? When you taste, who are you? Are you the jiva or are you the tongue? Think about it. Yeah? You know what I'm trying to get at? Yeah, think about it. Who are you? Are you the tongue or are you the jiva? Are you the enjoyer? So if you are the enjoyer, then you're not connecting to Krishna. So mostly when we take prasadam, we say we honor prasadam. But do we honor prasadam? So my Guru Maharaj used to say that Srila Prabhupada, whenever he took prasadam, he would generally, if he takes, he doesn't want any distraction. And he's like very respectful with the prasad. Patiently tasting everything. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, I think it's in the Madhya Leela also, the prasadam you're eating, it's actually, when you're tasting, it has been already been tasted by Krishna. So therefore when you're tasting his remnants. And that's why it's so wonderful. Have you ever experienced that? Yeah. That when you take prasadam, you give to your friends, and then they say, give me the recipe, and you give them the recipe, they come back and say, it didn't work. Have you experienced that? Yeah. You're not giving me all the ingredients. You're not telling me everything. You're thinking, if I tell you, you'll run away. Or you'll get crazy, you know. So it's important for us to know where am I situated also. Am I connecting with Krishna, or am I thinking, sometimes we think we are connected with Krishna, but our activities are not connected to Krishna. Right? Remember the beginning of this the session, we highlighted Haridas Thakur, where some people behave well, but they don't speak well. Some speak well, but they don't behave well. So we should always consider these things and see, in any situation, any time frame in your life, you should always ask yourself, who am I representing? So this will help you become very careful in the way you act. You will realize your presence, where am I? And so you will develop this patience for yourself. So attains the position of dhairya. Dhairyam apnoti. So he will continue to endeavor to please Krishna, please Srila Prabhupada, please the devotees. Now we're coming to how to develop patience. Okay. First thing is, identify core issues that contribute to impatience. Ask yourself, what is it that giving you these difficulties? What is it irritating? One of the main things that's been identified is irritability. And it creates stress. You can see that lady in front of the laptop, full of stress, anxiety, or sometimes even burnout. All this creates a lot of issues for us. When you go through these things, anxiety, burnout, and so on, you're not at your best. You're not. You can't be at your best because it's taking over your consciousness. It's making you feel taken away from that which you belong. And sometimes in psychological studies, these burnouts and all become chronic in our life. The way we lead our life become chronic. To become a more patient person, you first need to address these core issues that is holding you back. Write down. I often say, do your journal. When you journal, you identify your own issues. You don't have to tell anyone, and then you write it down. Later on, when you are more relaxed, you go through. Then you say, I have this issue. I have this issue, and then you circle, and then you can address it. With like-minded person or people who are your well-wishers. Sit down and say, look, I have these problems and that's holding me back, holding me back from going on the altar, holding me back from going on Harinam, holding me back from preaching, or from chanting 16 rounds. Yeah. So it's nice to know what is holding you back. It's a good tool. So remember the Guyam Akyati principle? So this, when you identify, then you look for those personalities who will be your well-wishers, who can help you. Truly well-wishers, not just a random person, oh, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, yeah, you are the one. Yeah, you can't do that. It has to be true well-wisher. That means oftentimes you get together, you talk about how to develop your Krishna consciousness, right? Maybe in the beginning you may not want to do that, but think about all these things, because in the long run, in 10, 15 years, where would you like to be in your spiritual life? Yeah? Think about that. Or the next thing is to identify and address stresses that lead to impatience. Like that guy, little boy. I want my lunch. Mommy, Daddy. Some of you have kids like that, right? So you're not at the best when your basic needs are not met. You know the Hertzberg's triangle, yeah? Malthusian, Hertzberg, all those things, yeah. That's what 40 years ago we studied in the college. So the basic needs, you must satisfy your basic needs. If you don't have your basic needs like a roof over your head, a place to stay, some shelter from the elements, and food, if it's not met, then you won't be very happy. So if you feel impatient, according to this psychological studies, you check 4 things. It's called HALT, H-A-L-T. Hunger. Are you hungry? Are you feeling hungry? No, I'm not. That's not what's causing me. But A stands for angry. Hungry and then angry. Hungry man is a angry man. Yes, that's the saying like that. And then the L stands for lonely. Yeah, a lot of people are lonely. Even though you may be sitting here, you could be 1,000,000 miles away, lonely. And then the last one is, most people are tired after a nice lunch prasad. Right? And so you cannot really, put your all into the session. Yeah. So if you come back from work, you feel tired and hungry, then what should you do? Yeah, honor prasadam. Then you don't feel that stress anymore. Yeah, take a shower, you won't feel stress. Water makes you feel refreshed. Yes. Yeah. So take shower. When you go out for a certain period of time, the best thing to do when you come, if you can't take shower, at least you wash your feet with cool water. Yeah, so it'll refresh you very nicely. Yeah, that's the whole culture in India. When you go out, you come back, they make you wash your feet before you come in. Yeah, cleanliness plus you feel good. Yeah, yeah. So it's not done for fun, There's a science behind it, behind everything. So when you address your stresses, then you feel more attuned to what needs to be done, and you become patient automatically. Otherwise, you're like a very uptight person. Okay. And then you reframe your thoughts. What I mean is, you may have negative thoughts, right? Negative thoughts will take you away from what needs to be done properly. So you need to reframe your thoughts. If you find yourself impatient, you may become frustrated with the idea that someone or even the universe is trying to ruin you. You'll think like that. No, they are out to get me. And so you realign your thoughts. Easier said, than done. But if you practice often enough, these things will become second nature. So it'll be very good for you to think about that. And you can get a better perspective of what is good for you. And then once you understand the perspective, then you become patient. You say, okay, I don't have to worry so much. Right? Like if your flight is, you have to take a flight at maybe 4 o'clock, now is what time? 3:20, you are stressed and you cannot reach on time, right? What will you do? So if you know what to do, you'll call the airline, you better cancel before a certain time, otherwise you won't get refunds and things like that, So you know the sequence, you feel patient, you feel relaxed, So therefore reframing your thoughts is very important. You may start to experience more patience when you reframe your thoughts. If you just stick to the same thing, sometimes people do the same thing hoping to get a different result. That is a definition of insanity. So we are already insane in this world. All right. The next one is engage in self-care. Take care of yourself. Devotees, if you don't know how to take care, then make sure someone knows how to take care of you. Meaning you have a well-wisher who says, Prabhu, Mata, you're not taking rest. I see you're tired. Right? Go. No, but I have to do this. It's okay. I'll cover for you. Right? Your well-wishers must be like that. That gives you unity. And that increases loving exchanges. Otherwise, how are you going to build a community if you don't have that kind of foresight? So make time. Make time for self-care. Like I was telling the youth, go for a hike. Get together, go for a hike, picnic. But of course you do kirtans and talk about Krishna Katha, like that. Or do some creative things. Or we have Janmashtami in a few months. Let's do some nice decoration around the altar. There's so much space, so we can do something, come up with something imaginative, right? So you're putting it to good use. And you feel contented because you have done something. And so your life becomes less stressful. And so you become patient automatically. And sleep. Take rest. Take some time off. After the Guru Maharaj leaves, everybody takes off. I remember when I first joined the movement, when Maharaj came and the whole temple was going round, like the top was spinning and it was like festival. And then the very morning the Maharaj left, the temple was dead. Then I say, what happened? The devotee was going out, like I say, I'm taking a break. I say, where are you going? I'm going for 3 days out, Because they stressed themselves so much that they needed the break, But then you all have to ask yourself, do I need to really stress myself so much, or do we combine our energies together and balance it so that we don't feel like that? Right? So one person shouldn't take all the burden, right? I'll pick the Guru Maharaj, I'll drive into my home, I will only cook, I'll wash, and then I'm dead. Yeah. And then all the other disciples are like, give me more, give me more. They want service. Yeah? So we should think about how to help everyone grow in Krishna consciousness. And as they grow, you find what we read in Chaitanya Charitamrita, the loving exchanges is real. It's tangible. You can feel it. It's palpable. Right? Otherwise you're the only one. You think you're like in this society nowadays, I'm the lone man on the totem pole. I'm the highest one. Nobody can come close. Or the king of the hill, right? They play the game, nobody can come, you keep pushing people down. So we shouldn't do that. But when we do all these nice exchanges with one another, helping each other, taking proper care of one another, then you find you can develop nice patience. Exercises, yeah. I mean, this may appear very mundane, but I think we eat too much as devotees. And we don't exercise properly. Yeah. You know, when you are young, okay, your body can digest and so on, but as you get older, you find you can't do much. So, I mentioned earlier on, husband and wife should go out on walks. So it will be nice, get to know each other. Hey, you're my wife. Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, it's like Devahuti and Kardama, right? She served him so many years, and finally he's like, "Oh, you are Devahuti. You don't look like her." Yeah. And then he has to build a mansion and then a lake where she can take bath and revive her body back and so on. So she was in a lot of stress. Yeah. So those things are important for all of us. Exercise, it increases endorphins. Endorphins are happy, you feel good, you feel happy. So when you go out on Harinam, you dance really well, you feel happy, you feel joyful. Because the whole process of Krishna consciousness is susukham kartum avyayam. That means the process should make you happy. And if you are doing so many things and you don't feel happy, then that's something's gone wrong somewhere. So you can't blame the process. It's how you're applying the process. So you can blame yourself. Yeah, happy hormones. And if you're happy, you smile. And when you smile at everyone, they also smile automatically, right? Right or not? Or you're going to go, no, I'm not smiling. You can't do that. You feel, especially if devotees are happy, you feel happy also. Yeah. Yeah. So physically you will be good, healthy. It also affects your mental health. You see things positively also. Our Krishna consciousness, our Krishna conscious activities should make you feel and see the world in a positive light. Sure, there's wars all around the place, but then you don't see the bad thing, you see opportunities. What is there in it for me? How can I help these people? That's how you'll start thinking differently. How can I change the circumstances in my home that everyone feels joyful? So we are thinking in terms of how Krishna would want us to be in our home. Definitely Krishna wants us to be happy, nah? Right? He doesn't want us to be sad. And that's the reason he keeps taking avatars unlimitedly. And he's thinking, what should I do? These guys are not coming home. Of course, you should also check with the doctors. This is a disclaimer, so you don't sue me. You should check with your doctors, make sure your heart is good and everything, that you can do your exercises and get that endorphins up. Right? Okay. And if you don't believe it, Srila Prabhupada used to go out on walks, morning walks. Yeah, so it's nothing wrong to go out and do some exercises. Yeah. Or if you don't like to walk, then swim. That's another good exercise. All right, number 6. The next one is, everybody does this, meditate. But it's very challenging for ordinary people, because to sit down and meditate is disturbing for them, because their mind is not... So our meditation is on the holy name, yeah. So Nam Nama Karibhaudani Jasharva Shakti Satrapita Niyamita Smaranena Kalaha. So you can chant anywhere, any place. That's so nice. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so kind. He said, do it anywhere, you can meditate. So if you can't sit and chant, you walk and chant. But it's very beneficial for us, very beneficial. Which is why you have to have a sacred space for chanting. Keep it clean. Why? Because then you will be in the mode of goodness. In the mode of goodness, you can accomplish more activities peacefully. Yeah. No disturbance. So that devotees who chant, when they chant, they don't keep their cell phones, no disturbance, everything turned off, No laptop, nothing, yeah. Right? But if you're working in chant, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, it's not chanting. That's not chanting. That's just counting. Okay? And the next one is spend time in nature. This is also to keep you calm. Naperville has many nice ice jungles or whatever, ice forests. Right? I think it's nice, right? During summer and all. Yeah, spring, summer, you all can go for walks, yeah. Again, it's for mode of goodness. It will enhance your goodness. Now, if you can't, then do you all have any farm area around here? No farm. Cows. If you have cows, you take care of cows, your mode of goodness grows also. Yeah. Yeah. So nature, spending time in nature is good for the mind. So it's a mental health. I'm raising this because there's a lot of people with mental health. Yeah. Even devotees have mental health problems. So it's far-reaching if you apply this very nicely, and it also has physical advantages. But don't go too far into the woods, but just have a nice walk and so on. If you spend time in nature, it helps to promote attention. These are studies done. They find the people who take nice walks, they can focus properly. They also find that they have self-control also. And cognitive flexibility. Able to use your mind in the right way of understanding things. And of course it will reduce stress, anger and anxiety on top of that, yeah. And finally, if all these things I told you didn't work, then go and see a shrink. Yeah, sometimes it could be due to your karma. You may have to go and see a doctor. Don't feel that you shouldn't take help from professionals. You should. It's the proper thing to do. Just like in the early days, people were like, Ayurveda, only Ayurveda. Then Prabhupada told my Guru Maharaj that, yeah, Ayurveda is good, but if you have a broken bone, Ayurveda will take a long time to heal. You go to the doctor, they slap some plaster, and within a month or two, you are hitting other people, a person, no? Beating up others. So yeah, be very practical. That's what it is. Yeah, you go, if you find that you tried many things and you still have your anxiety and so on, go and see seek a professional help and see if they can help. Yeah. Yeah, but if they can't, then you see the biggest biggest doctor, Krishna. Oh, go Nita and tell them I can't do it anymore. Now I leave my health in your hands. So if you find among yourselves, you find someone having issues, and they can't help themselves or they don't want to take help from others, then you should be their well-wisher. Talk to them, encourage them to go and seek therapy. Maybe that will help them. Don't force anyone, but you can speak to them in such a way that they can appreciate your kindness, right? That's how it should be. It should be from your heart that you want to help them. It should be genuine, because you can't fake it and make it, it doesn't work in Krishna consciousness. Yeah, you need to be genuine in your desires, and then it'll work. Yeah. Okay. Comments? No. Otherwise we can move on. Yeah. Yes, Prabhu.
Just remind me of 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, how Krishna basically is telling Arjuna that to be a yogi you have to have this lifestyle of a yogi, which is about goodness, and then these 4 things: sleeping,
eating,
and recreation, which is
basically what it is. Now we're going to come to that also. I have it somewhere. Yeah, thank you. Okay, the next slides we are going to look at leadership and how you can practice tolerance and patience. Leadership. But as you say again, leadership doesn't mean the leaders only. Every one of you is a leader in ISKCON. Huh? Okay. Many of these ideas and so on, I got it from His Holiness Bhaktitirtha Swami in his leadership books like that. So I'm just sharing with you. If you are keen, you can go and read his Spiritual Warrior series. Yeah. So leaders should make special efforts to evaluate their own activities. First, it has to be top down, right? First thing is to see if they are displaying true patience and tolerance. That means you have to evaluate yourself, how truthful you are. Yeah, look at yourself. Actually, this is for each and every one of you. You should evaluate yourself and see how are you displaying patience and tolerance. If you can't, if you think you are okay, then you have issues actually. Yeah. It's true, right? You think, oh, I'm good. Like in some companies, they say, evaluate yourself and submit, right? Silly buggers, But then if you say the other guy wants to evaluate, then if he doesn't like you, also it's silly also, right? It's weird. Yeah. So if you are satisfied with your own superficial evaluation of your own behavior, then you will have difficulty being tolerant and patient. You will have difficulty. To observe their patterns of avoidance, apathy, or insensitivity, especially at those times when they need to be more involved in productive action. Right? When you are supposed to be involved, you run away. That means there's a lack of compassion for others. And this leads to intolerance. Right? Instead of getting your hand dirty, working it out, you're like, no, I don't want to. So you don't want to be tolerant of the difficulties you go through. Mostly when they don't get involved is because they don't feel obliged to adjust their concept or their view or to factor in anyone other than individuals of importance to their business. Right? Okay, this person, I'm not interested. Oh, that Prabhu, yes, yeah. So we have to be very careful. And so we should see, why am I avoiding this person? Why am I not showing sensitivity to this person, and so on. So as I mentioned, each and every one of you, you need to evaluate your own action in this situation. Give their best and not be attached to results. Yeah. Why? Because if you are spiritually conscious, you will know that nothing happens by chance, and everything is, you're not in charge of everything. Everything belongs to the Lord. Yeah. Ultimately, everything is under Krishna. So that's the recognition we have to develop. Alright, patience is not simply the ability to wait. It's not simply that. It is how we behave while we are waiting. Yeah. Right? How you behave while you're waiting. Anyone have been in some kind of when you were young, or maybe even like in the reserve army or armed forces training, anyone? You have, yeah? So infantry, you're in the Navy, oh, okay. Do you have to wait a long time for anything to happen? Yeah. Yes, thank you. Because I was also drafted in the infantry. So they'll tell you, bang, 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 you get up, you get your things, everything, and they'll say, okay, we are going for this target, and we will get up early in the morning, 2 in the morning, drive all the way, stealth movement, come to the target region, and then they say, wait. Yeah. And they make you wait. They say dawn attack, so you have to wait until the sun is about to rise. And then most people will try to sleep. They waste so much time. So much time is wasted. So it's not just to wait for Krishna conscious devotee. For us is what we do during that period. What are we thinking of? Who are we thinking of? What is our intention? Right? Now you can erode patience. We'll come to that later. Okay. The next one is, if you don't practice all this, this is what will happen. It's an automatic thing. You will not be patient and tolerant. And then the second one is, you will lack compassion for others. And therefore you become intolerant of others. So it's the other side of the coin. Yeah. Preoccupied with the outcome of results and one's actions, right? We tend to do that, all of us. Yeah, the results seem to be more important than the devotees or others who we are dealing with, how they are going through emotionally, what they are feeling. So the more we do this, we erode our own tolerance and patience because we don't consider the position of another person's situation. We only recognize our own motivation. So that is very destructive for any one of you who take either a leadership role or someone who's guiding other person. I'm waiting for you to take picture. Okay. Okay, there's His Holiness. Leadership problems from immature patience and tolerance. So seemingly patient or wanting others to think they are patient. Can you identify with that? Yeah? Some of you can, yeah? Actually, they are apathetic. That's what it is, lack of interest, lack of concern. They will react in an impatient way to the failings of others. That's your fault, get out from here, you don't know what you're doing, I told you what to do, right? Do you want to give some examples? No, it's okay. There's another issue. If you're not taking care of yourself properly, you tend to procrastinate. When you need to do something now, you don't act. And I've seen this a lot. We need a meeting to fix this problem. Well, let me think about it. I have something else to do. Maybe they just don't want to come and do it. They have too many things in their mind, so they tend to procrastinate. Yeah. To do so properly requires the constant awareness of being a servant to others. That's one of the important things. So therefore, Maharaj says, he highlights, one should be dasa anudas principle. Gopir bharta pada kamalayo dasa dasa anudas. So we are supposed to be servant of the servant of the servant. So as leaders, we are thinking they should serve me. But actually, leaders means you do more service actually. And in serving a person, you actually break their barriers of, they build a barrier, a wall of resistance to becoming a loving devotee. So when you do the due thing, activities properly, you break those walls, and then they realize they want that. And then their hearts open up and a flood of emotions come through. Nice ones. Yeah, not fisticuffs. Yeah, avoidance and insensitivity. Yeah. Oh, I don't want to know, I don't want to know, right? Oh, what are you talking about? This is a problem? No, I don't want to know, I got other things to do, yeah. This is not good for a leader. Particularly devotees, right? We are supposed to be personal. So we get together, we want to help one another, personal. We can't avoid. Who avoids? Impersonalists, no? They avoid all this thing, I don't like this. Raga, bhaya, krodha, vitaraga, bhaya, krodha. So eventually they say, there's no form, God, I don't want. Yeah, so devotees shouldn't think like that. We are in a personable movement. Yeah, we should try to help one another. Although someone can tolerate one another out of sense of duty or maybe magnanimity, the underlying attitude in such a situation is one of intolerance. They are avoiding it, that's what it is. Why? Because they consider the other person as a nuisance. Yeah? When we have that kind of idea, then it's very hard to help anyone, let alone ourselves. Or we think their opinion has no value. And the problem is, we have a high opinion of ourselves. That's the problem. Now sometimes people or devotees make mistakes because they have shortcomings also. So we make mistakes, right? So then we don't understand whether it's done purposefully or not, or done out of weakness. So as a leader, when your kid or someone does some mistake, do you think immediately this person is doing it purposely? You evaluate things properly first. Yeah. Yeah. So devotee means he's very careful and he's not judgmental. He's not judging. He's not trying to judge them based on his standards or not. Right? You can see the same things happen in our life as adults. And we may take offense at others that they themselves don't realize that they are making a mistake sometimes. Right? Sometimes people don't know they are making mistake. For example, let's say in your pujari room, they hang the towel in one place, then you are new and they didn't tell you where to hang, you hang it another place. Then the next pujari comes in and says, womp, 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 right? They get angry and they make a lot of accusations, right? They do that, right? Yeah. And then you're thinking, what? I didn't do that. And so the new person doesn't know that my action is upsetting someone else. Yeah. So as a leader, we should be able to understand that sometimes innocent mistakes can happen, and some education can correct those things, right? And that's why it's good to have, education. Sometimes it may appear to be purposeful. You tell the person and they forgot. And then they did the same mistake. And then you come down like the, angry Yamaraj with his trident, you want to stab them. You want to be the judge, the executor, like that. So it's very important to become sensitive to these things. It's very important for us. So that will help us to forbear such difficulties that we see. Small offenses, we shouldn't take it too personally, seriously also, yeah. I was told that in the early days, devotees will have differences and they argue. So Prabhupada would say, there's a tendency to say he's offensive to me. So Prabhupada would say, it's okay, come for Mangalarati, after Tulasi Puja, you pay obeisances, right? And then that's it, enough. Yeah. So that's another reason why you all should come for Mangalarti. So you can say, I have paid my obeisance. So I'm clean for another day. My slate is clean. Yeah. Okay, overcoming the problems. You have to understand the role of each individual, what they are doing, how they are doing, and for what purpose. Understand it clearly, how they are doing these services and so on. And then, as I mentioned earlier, Dasa Anudasa principle. Always bear in mind, you are actually a servant also. When we take on a leadership role, we forget that we are also still servants, right? When we take on the leadership role, we even push away Krishna and take his role. We think we are equal to Krishna. No, Krishna has given us the empowerment, and so we are still his servant. We are servant of Prabhupada, we are servant of our gurus, we are servant of everyone actually. Understand the devotees' problems properly, understand their needs, understand their goals. Right? Before you give some service assignment, you should go through the service. Walk through the service and say, why we need you to do this service, what will you achieve, what you can get out of it. So they can get a good picture. Generally we do firefighting management. Oh, there's nobody in the altar. Who's there? You, go up there. Right? I mean, it sounds harsh, but actually they go around asking 10 million people, nobody wants to do it. And then finally somebody will say, I'll do it. And then they'll go. And then they don't know what to do sometimes, yeah. They don't understand the needs, they don't understand the goal, and they make mistake. And then someone else will come and say, hey, he did the puja this way, I didn't like it. What kind of temple you're running? Right? So all this stems from intolerance, stems from not being patient enough to understand there may be something behind that situation, not able to recognize this. Mainly we have to become Mahatmas. Mahatmas means broad-minded. Otherwise you are Duratma, you only very narrow view of what's happening in the temple situation. We don't know what is right, what is good, what is beneficial. Best is to be strict with yourself, right? Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, right? And Prabhupada also says, be strict with yourself, be lenient with others, yeah. But we all like to be Prabhupada. We want to chastise people. So if you act incorrectly, which is the previous verse, then Maharaj says this, to behave in this way is to deny another's individuality and humanity and to minimize that person's contributions. Therefore, instead of thinking, I will tolerate this situation, it might be more helpful to think, I will try to understand this situation and respond appropriately without overreacting or minimizing its significance. It's a very valuable instruction. It opens a different way of looking at things. Okay, we'll continue. Now, what happens if you meet people who are envious? Whenever you experience envious people around you, this is a tough one. you need to digest this. You can try to uplift them by projecting loving, selfless, and caring thoughts. Question is, can you do it? Okay, maybe not, but is it doable? Yeah? Yes? Yes. Some of you say yes, yeah. It's doable, yeah. How to do it is the question. So recognizing it's doable is important. Then you know it's possible, yeah. But if you at the outset you look at it and say, no way, then it's not going to work. This is an individual evaluation for each of you. You need to ask this question, right? I can't crack open your head and look inside. Or your own spiritual master, he probably may know, but the point is they may not want to interfere in your growth. Now generally envious people think and act like as if they can talk behind you, your back, and that will decrease your Krishna consciousness or will decrease your Guru's mercy on you. So that's what they're thinking, But meanwhile, if they are very observant, they will see both Krishna or Guru will continue to bless you in their faces. Yeah, so sometimes you see that, if you are very observant, you think this person is no good, that person is no good, but then you see they are getting so much mercy from the Guru, then time to reevaluate the way you are thinking. You have to drop the idea from your mind and say, but I've seen this person do this. Forget it, You're not here to judge them. Yeah. There's something wrong with you. That's why you're not getting the mercy of your Guru and they are getting it. Yeah. Jai Shri Radha Shyama Sundar ki Jai, Shri Radha Madhava ki Jai, Gaur Nitai ki Jai. Caring and loving others increases our patience and tolerance. It's a fact, when you care for people, you become patient with them. You want to take care of them, you want to help them. So you hold back your anxieties, you hold back your frustrations and so on. Yeah, right. Which is why it's good to preach. Good to have bhakti pots, right? So that you encourage people in your pot. Yeah, but don't burn the pot. I don't know if that's what pod is, or is it P-O-D? Pod, okay. Yeah. Okay, now understanding the importance of patience. Now, patience is fundamental for fostering empathy and trust. It's fundamental. You need to have that. It helps navigate conflicts if you have patience, and it builds stronger emotional connections. It will build stronger emotional connections. And also your relationship will be long-lasting. A true relationship is based on love and trust. Yeah. Now, patience enables devotees to listen and understand each other's perspective. That means what it is trying to say here is a patient devotee is an effective communicator. Okay? That's what a patient devotee is. He will allow their needs, their desires, their concerns to be expressed openly when he is dealing with them. Okay? And when you're patient, then the discussion is very constructive, because you are not judging, you are listening, and you're allowing them a safe space to open up. Okay? And therefore things are constructive. And because they can open up, there's less chances of misunderstandings. Thank you. Yeah? Less chances of misunderstandings. And therefore no more conflicts or less conflicts. Yeah? And then you'll find devotees will be more willing to open up if they know there's no judgment, no punishment. So, because they are fearful. Mostly we don't open up because we are fearful. Yeah? Yeah. So therefore this openness is very critical or crucial for resolving conflicts also. But it stems from patience. It allows time for emotions to settle, leading to more reasoned discussions. So it builds trust and understanding, meaning it fosters trust and a sense of validation. When you talk to someone and they feel that you're listening to them, and then they feel, oh, this is good, I'm being heard. They are listening to me, I'm being understood, yeah? Like that. And so this leads to a more supportive and empathetic partnership. The next point is, this will also prevent small disagreements from escalating into major conflicts, right? Remember the pakora incident? Yeah, so yeah. So healthy relationships, it creates safe environment. Yeah. Okay, we'll do this slide and then we will open for questioning. By practicing patience, devotees show each other respect and care, which strengthens their bond. Right? You're open to hearing the other side, so they feel they are respected. Right? It's very important. Maharaj is emphasized respect in so many levels. So we have to respect one another. And then you can care for them also. It also helps in creating a safe space where both individuals can express themselves without fear of immediate judgment or anger. I mentioned it earlier also, yeah. And finally, being patient means recognizing that not all problems have quick solutions. It fosters a supportive environment where devotees work together to overcome challenges over time. This is important because they all feel that I am part of the, in this case, part of the temple. They are honoring my opinion also. It has value. What I'm saying, they have accepted it. They have evaluated based on my opinions as well. Okay, so 4:10, so we'll stop here. Right? 4:30 we're finishing. And Subha Prabhu has the questions. Or comments, yeah.
Thank you, Radha Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah.
And I have a couple of comments, observations, and I also have a question for you.
Sure.
One thing that I, by experience, and sort of echoing the presentation that you're making. In leadership, especially when there is not this type of qualities being cultivated, the atmosphere that is created is actually not a healing atmosphere, but it's a toxic atmosphere.
It's a toxic atmosphere.
And you can see that it have all kinds of consequences. So the leaders have such a
important task.
A responsible task, and the consequences towards the leader is it could be very big too. So that's one thing. Another thought that I have as I listen to you was that, now it escaped my mind, but the question is, that sometimes we experience this, that there's almost like a targeted type of patience that is actually genuine. It's not false, but you're very patient and tolerant with those who are like you, that are very much, that has
in your circle,
part of your nature and your circle, but you're not necessarily the same with someone that is different.
Yes.
So then, and when they are present, also it creates again that toxic atmosphere.
Yes.
That at the end collapses.
Yes.
So how do you address that particular thing? Because you cannot say, oh, this leader or this devotee is impatient, because for some
he is patient. Yeah.
He's very tolerant, he's very encouraging, and he's very healing in one sense. But for others, it's the contrary.
That's a good question, and the solution may not be so straightforward in this case. In general, we will come to the other sections where we will discuss on correcting one another, a section of how devotees can help one another correct. So here, as you mentioned correctly, if someone says he's not patient with me, he's done this, then they can say, I have so many others who say I'm patient also. So you rightly said that. In such a situation, you need a third party or someone who is also on the same group of devotees, or someone who's superior to all of them, who is the well-wisher, who is also helping out. And so such discussions can be brought to a higher authority, who can then evaluate in a proper way to see if the complaint is valid or not. Yeah, and then if it is valid, they can speak to the individual in a proper way to make them understand that they may be lacking in their way of approaching devotees who are not within their own circle of friends. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It came to my mind the other one.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
There's a situation sometimes in which you mentioned the intention is right, the sincerity and the desire to do the right thing is there, but I'm not aware that actually through whatever my limitations, I'm convinced I'm performing the things right, but actually not.
Yeah.
So there is a little bit of a delusion of I am, acting in such a way, but actually I'm not.
Yeah.
So, what do you do?
It's on the level the devotee is in, whether he's a junior devotee or someone who's a management role and so on. Usually, I find that if I have a close network of friends and so on who can point out mistakes that I'm making, then I know this person is helping me out. And therefore, when they say, you're doing this, but you're doing it all wrong, and then I will have to evaluate myself. And then I'll ask them, what do you think I should do? Give me some pointers. So that's one way we can take care of our shortcomings. Otherwise, you can always send them to courses, the courses where they teach you how to understand your shortcomings also. There are so many courses around in the city, things which highlight your shortcomings. For example, I remember one devotee was always angry. Easily they get angry. So when he hears from someone else, he says, no, I'm not angry. But eventually, he was told by someone he respected that, you have this issue. And then they told him, you go and seek anger management. And the devotee did that. And since then, he has controlled his anger very nicely. Yeah. So it's a matter of accepting peers who are your well-wishers, or someone superior to you who are also your well-wisher, and they are highlighting that although your intention is all good, but the way you perform your activity it's coming out bad due to this reason. When they accept that, they can make changes. Ultimately, is becoming responsible. I have a problem, I want to own that problem, then you can make changes. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, that's nice.
A couple of questions come to mind from this class. I had so many from the previous one. So you were speaking of these two different kinds of faults. One is faults because of weakness, and then purposeful faults. And I'm thinking that ultimately every soul is Satchidananda, part and parcel of Krishna. And so even these purposeful faults are really just a covering. Ultimately, the intention is not evil, but, because of our coverings, those purposeful faults come in. So, just this question around, if we think that people are purposefully either offending or whatever, then how will compassion ever come through?
From the person who's been offended?
Yeah, if we are assuming that somebody is purposefully doing things.
Well, generally, you don't immediately say that's a purposeful fault. It's over a period of time, right? Maybe you give them 6 months, a year, you observe, but if they are still always doing it, then it's purposeful, right? Then then you can investigate and see if the intention is also sinister or not. Then you can decide how to approach the problem based on those points you have gathered. Yeah.
And another question is related to what Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj was talking about, avoidance, apathy, and insensitivity. So I understand when there is a formal position of leadership that we might have, it's very important to address. And then just by our virtue of practicing Krishna consciousness, being around, we become these informal leaders, and naturally people derive some inspiration perhaps. So I'm thinking in those settings, these informal relationships that we have. You were giving that beautiful example in the previous class about the butterfly, and the butterfly is not ready. It's a disservice to breathe over it. And similarly, people have, the strength of Krishna consciousness gives us the ability to address our anarthas. And at different points in our life, we don't have the capacity to address our anarthas. And so this discrimination of how to assist and serve in situations where we don't have a formal position.
We are going to talk about those correcting and so on in the next session and so on. Yeah, but yeah. Thank you. Anyone else? Yeah, yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So the way I see that our tolerance level is impacted by our biases, like our confirmation bias, emotional biases, or the cultural biases, what we carry. And that impacts to perceive any situation or person, whether we should accept or endure for whether we do not accept the situation or the person. So, what are the things which we can do to reduce that, so that we can counter the situation or whatever the activities happened with that person, and we can be more tolerant about that event?
I mean, cultural bias, some things are like so ingrained, in our, your son says, genetics, So, what to do? I think there's a lot of prayers are necessary. Yeah, but if you have a cultural bias and someone wants to tell you this is cultural bias, you may be biased already into listening. It's going to be a very difficult situation. Purity, you need to come to a certain level of purity, because cultural bias, the things that you pointed out, all those are material. Yeah. So then your spiritual activities must be at a higher level of practice, because then only you can overcome these biases which are already in you. How do you chant? How do you serve? How do you reach out to the Supreme Lord? How do you communicate with your spiritual master? How do you communicate with different devotees? All this should enrich your Krishna consciousness. It should make you a person that the people like you. If you are very culturally biased, plus all the other things you said, you will know the signal that you will get from others will be so obvious that they shun you. You walk in the temple room, everyone walk out, for example, drastic examples, but yeah. Or you say Haribol, they just smile and then they don't talk to you. You find that you have less friends, right? So all these are indicators for you that there should be some evaluation on your lifestyle situation or your service attitude, right? And so when you are clear about that, then you can approach someone you feel confident enough to help you out. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, whoever, it doesn't matter, yeah.
Yeah, it was discussed in the last class that there are 26 qualities of the Vaishnavas, and out of those qualities, taking shelter of Krishna is most important, and the rest of them they follow through. So could you please elaborate how having one quality of taking shelter of Krishna, how the other qualities will follow?
When you are surrendered to Krishna completely, right, Krishna blesses you with all the other qualities. It's as easy as that, yeah. You don't need to, you can endeavor to do one of those qualities to develop them, but then that will probably take you many lifetimes. But if you surrender to Krishna, serve his devotees, then automatically the blessings are bestowed on you, yeah. So your true nature as a Jiva Atma, it shines through, and that's where the demigods and everyone bless you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for wonderful steps and other various things on patience, so elaborately explained. My question is related to I find myself that I am into the habit of procrastination.
Ooh, you're not the only one. Okay. I mean, 90% of the world population procrastinates. Yeah.
So what could be the steps out, or it becoming a habit? So what steps to take to overcome it? And
One thing I can say offhand is have a goals that you want to accomplish with time limits and so on. The other thing is always have a partner to accomplish those goals together. In your case, so offhand, that's what I think. Unless someone can want to add something else, procrastination.
yes, good.
That's good enough.
Yeah. And one more, and second point question is like the loneliness is kind of perception which we develop over time, or from childhood we experience something, or we felt like that, like even though it might not be that way, but we perceived it way that way, and it becomes some challenge we have around that thing. So it's an individual problem which we created, like it's not maybe not existing, but we have perceived like that, and it has become an
It's called conditioning.
yeah.
It could be from previous life karma or this life, as you're mentioning. Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, again, so what could be the step out, or like as we all see in Krishna consciousness, Lord is always with us, and every devotee and everyone is with us, but still how could we?
So maybe you're an introverted person, for example, so then your nature is to hold back, not to, things you can do is lead a kirtan, right, in front of the temple. So as you chant and sing for the blessings of the Lord, right, to glorify the Lord, as you sing, you become more, I'm an introverted person, I don't seem like it, right? Because my spiritual master told me you have to go out there and talk. So now I can't shut up. No, I can. But yeah, so, do some kirtan. I do not know what time in the afternoon the temple opens. 4 o'clock. So maybe you come at 4 o'clock and do a kirtan, In my early days, the temple would be empty, so I would just come and sing the bhajans and so on. It's so enlivening. And you will develop a special relationship with Krishna. Then you want to share that, so you won't be lonely. Because then you'll go looking for people to share what you found in your heart. That which gave you so much happiness and joy that you want to see every second person, you want to hug them. Yeah. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Beautiful points that you pointed out for patients and.
You need to speak slowly.
Sorry.
Yeah, because you go at 100 miles an hour. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
I'm an old man. Yeah, I need to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my question is, you keep on putting this emphasis on finding for Guhyamaki Prichati, you have to find someone who is your well-wisher, or who you can express yourself to as you are, to get help, obviously. So in that instance, sometimes you try to find someone. I mean, in order to find that, you have to talk to someone, right? When you talk to someone, you feel that, okay, there's similarities and there's some connection, like-mindedness. And then, let's say when we really get to know someone, then it's really not that similar that we feel. So in those instances, how do you find someone who's genuinely like-minded with your thoughts, with your, have you...
You're never going to get 100%. You need to get that in your mind. You're never going to get 100%. Yeah, unless you clone yourself. Even that may not be the same. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because
Start that relationship then.
how do you start a relationship? In general, don't look for someone like you. Right? You want someone to guide you. So you want a mentor. Right? So what are the qualities of a mentor that you are looking for? So based on that, then you approach that person. And sure, they may have some other issues or this issue. They may not comb their hair properly and you may not like that. Hey, that's beside the point, right? What you want is, can they guide me nicely? So that's what you should seek for. Yeah. And in doing so, you find that there are people who are like you also. Because sometimes we are so reserved and we cover ourselves and close into a shell that we don't see that actually every single devotee here is just like me. We are all suffering. Yay! Yeah.
My second question is, in the event of preaching and sadhana, like your own sadhana, sometimes we feel that, when we're guiding someone else, because of this, patience and everything, we develop a good relationship with listening to them, and you find yourself sometimes just listening constantly, and they just want to have this, build that strong relationship with you. But then at that time, then you realize, oh, I'm missing out on my hearing or my chanting or my, whatever you're supposed to be doing. So how do you balance the two?
First, you must understand there's a reason why that devotee is coming to you. Krishna must be sending them to you, right? As a devotee, Krishna is sending that jiva to you. So as a person who's helping Krishna, what is your duty to that jiva? Jiva doi, right? So help that person genuinely. In helping them, you are helping yourself also. Your heart will get nicer, softer. And you are actually being balanced. Can you see that? Yeah. And then you pray to the Lord to give you more strength to help others.
Thank you.
Yeah. Welcome. Hare Krishna. Okay, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for the wonderful class. Prabhu, I just had a question, like how do we know that how much we have surrendered to Krishna? What is the definition of complete surrender?
Atma Nivedanam. There's levels of surrender, right? When you first come to the movement, they tell you, what they tell you? What did they tell you? What did they tell? No, you are in the movement all the time. Huh? What did they tell you? Chant, be happy, what else? Come to center once a week. All these are surrender. There are different levels of surrender. So, until you go back to Godhead, you are always surrendering. Right? Yeah. So, when you serve, you're surrendering your time sometimes. Right? When you put $1 in the undi, you're surrendering a lot of money there. Right? And then, what else you do? You serve out, you're surrendering you're being served, you're giving up that ego. So there's many levels of surrender. Rupa Goswami says the beginning of that surrender towards Krishna is when you start chanting. That's the first surrender. Yeah. And then you take shelter of, bhajana kriya. Then first you need to have faith. Then the faith will allow you to surrender. Right? Bhajana kriya, when you look for sadhu sangha, take shelter of someone, take initiation, follow the instructions all the way back. Every step is a surrender. Yeah? Every instruction you read is for you to surrender. Every devotee you meet is an opportunity to surrender, to serve them. Yeah. But generally, because we are not trained properly, it's not a fault of anyone, it's just because our movement is very young. We are only, 60 years old? So there's a lot of growing pains we are going through. And so we find sometimes, some temples are doing good, some are not doing, because there's so many growing pains we have to address. Yeah. But every time we come to a temple, it's an opportunity to surrender. So you should ask yourself, what can I do today? Right? Full surrender is when you give everything for the pleasure of the Lord. Completely. Nothing for yourself. Generally they say, 1 for Krishna, 2 for me. Right? 1 for Krishna, 2 for me, then 2 for Krishna, 4 for me, like that. But full surrender means all for Krishna. Yeah. That's at a very high level, very high level. So for now, chant 16 rounds and do what service you can and do it happily. Yeah. Yeah, then you'll be satisfied. Yeah, because then Krishna will guide you. The devotees will guide you. Say, yeah, Kapil, do this next. Yeah. And then you become a constant service, not just random services. Some serious, constant service for the pleasure of the devotees and the deities. You do that. Oh, Kapil, dress Prabhupada. Incidentally, I'm amazed by Prabhupada. He's smiling, because most temple Prabhupada is pretty grave. Yeah, yeah, nice. Is that okay? Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhupada.
Okay, we are 5 minutes over. Thank you very much, Srila Prabhupada.